If you haven't picked up on the theme of the last few episodes, there is an election coming up on May 24th. Today, we're going to talk about dark horses and unicorns and what they have to do with the oil and gas industry. That's next on today's episode of The Crude Truth.
In 1901, at Spindletop Hill near Beaumont, the future of Texas changed dramatically as, like a fountain of fortune, thousands of barrels of oil burst from the earth towards the sky. Soon, Detroit would be cranking out Model Ts by the millions, and America was on the move, thanks to the black gold being produced in Texas. Now, more than a century later, the vehicles are different, but nothing else has truly changed. Sure, there may be many other alternative energy sources like wind and solar and electric. But let's be honest, America depends on oil and entrepreneurs, and if the USA is truly going to be independent, it has to know the crude truth.
Well, my guest today is one that has come on very strong, Sarah Stogner. Sarah, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks.
Good. Thanks for being on The Crude Truth. For all of y'all that don't already know, we have a very important runoff election here on May 24th. That is next Tuesday. Early voting's going on right now, and if you haven't figured out the theme of my last couple of shows, we've had on some great candidates, and I got on another one today. Sarah, thank you so much again. You have been burning up that campaign trail. How are you doing out there?
Good. Yeah, no, I mean, I've put 27,000 miles on my expedition since January, traversing across this big, beautiful state of ours. And I'm feeling good. You know, I didn't accept campaign contributions in the beginning. And I had a friend come to me a couple of weeks ago and say, hey, you need to get your ego out of the way. And I'm not in the industry. You can take this money. You're not going to be regulating me. And we can go buy ads and we can get your word out there. Because unfortunately, in the state of Texas and runoffs and primaries, that's what it takes. Is you've got not very many people that actually show up to vote. And my opponent's out there telling some pretty ridiculous lies about me. So we've got to counter it and hope that people can see past it and just go show up and vote.
Well, that's one reason I have you on today. I definitely want to do the same and get people out there. And even to the Democrats that watch the show, if they didn't vote a couple of months back, they can go vote for a Republican this time around. So have them come on out and vote either way. Sarah, so tell us, you're an oil and gas lawyer, and you've been doing that for how long?
Yep, I graduated from LSU Law School in 2014, or no, 2008. So I guess, what is that, 14 years? And have been representing operators, midstream companies, service companies in risk allocation, so master service agreements, consulting agreements. And then my favorite is suing insurance companies when they refuse to pay a valid claim. So I learned most of my technical knowledge from sitting in conference rooms with petroleum engineers and geologists and petrophysicists, learning about reservoirs and helping to prepare for litigation for really complex blowouts. And moved out onto a cattle ranch last summer that had some issues and realized that we've got problems at the very highest levels of government. And I love this industry, and I want to make sure that we have a viable oil and gas industry and that we don't have bureaucrats that are really just screwing it up for the good guys.
Well, I know what you've been able to do. I see you've got your unicorn there in the background, and I know I've seen your ads where you've got the unicorn on your hard hat, but you are coming on. I mean, you could be the rich strike of this deal. You've come on very strong here in the last few weeks. You've picked up a lot of momentum. So I don't even know if dark horse is really going to be something. I think this is going to be a real, probably a close election here coming up. Very, very excited for you. So tell us, when you're not doing law, or granted, 27,000 miles since January, that is a lot of time on the road. So I understand, but what do you do when you're not doing all this? What other than practicing law? Obviously, on your campaign ads, we see you have a young daughter. I'm sure y'all like to hang out.
Yeah, we do. What do I do for fun? Wow. Well, It's been a while since I've had some downtime for fun, but I'm a pilot. I have my pilot's license. I like scuba diving, fishing. I'm a big outdoors person, so hunting and fishing and all that. Good old Southern girl.
Well, there ain't nothing wrong with that. And I know any Texan watching or listening to this today definitely can relate to hunting and fishing and being outdoors. We're right there. We're obviously hitting that summertime heat, but hey, it's okay. It's what we're doing right now in Texas. So tell me, Texas, we are a powerhouse in the oil and gas industry. How do you feel with us? Because right now the price of the West Texas Intermediate is basically the same price as Brent.
I know it surpassed Brent the other day, and I said, I didn't know that had ever happened. Apparently, it has in the past. In my recent memory, I couldn't remember it happening. So, yeah, it's exciting times.
Well, I mean, with you, let's ask you. I'll ask you this: when you get elected, we'll be positive thinkers. When you get elected, what would be your day one thing that you'd like to accomplish?
I mean, the first thing I'm going to do is go in and TikTok live and show everyone the office, right? Apparently this one has a shower in its bathroom because some guy back way when was, needed to take showers. But no, I think it's going to be fun to bring some transparency. And I'm looking forward to continuing the conversation with all the subject matter experts that I'm friends with, that I've developed professional working relationships with over the past 14 years, and really get in there and figure out what's going on, because it's almost like this cloak of mystery. And, I know that we've got some issues, but once I get in there and can really see what's happening, I'm excited about bragging about the good guys and holding the bad ones accountable.
Wow, I like that. The cloak of mystery. You are ready to go in there and just take charge. I like it. Sarah, for the small independents out there, I'm sure you're on the campaign trail, and I'm sure you're talking to a bunch of them. What's a message to some of the ones that you haven't been able to talk to yet for the small independents out there, just like mine at Pecos Country Energy?
Yeah, I want to help you guys be able to compete fairly against the bigger ones that are basically paying to play. And it's infuriating, right? Because I've represented small operators that try to do the right thing, and they go above and beyond, and they try not to be jerks with their contracts, and they still believe in a handshake, and they still believe in doing the right thing because it's the right thing, even when it costs a little bit more money. And so I'm really looking forward to learning what the current pinch points are for those smaller operators with the commission that we have. From those that I've talked to so far, they're really frustrated with the data, the fact that they're having to buy these really expensive subscriptions to get data that the Railroad Commission should have and should be available to the public. Making sure that they're not held to more stringent standards than the other people that are essentially buying their way into permits. And again, I need to learn more, right? So if you guys have things that are bothering you, how can I help facilitate those conversations and make sure that we're protecting the environment, but also able to explore for and produce oil and natural gas, because we power the world, right? And if Texas were a standalone country, we would be the third largest oil and gas producing country in the world. That's a big responsibility. And I think we're more important than ever, as we've seen, right, with this Russia and the Ukraine crisis, of we need to be making 100 and 1,000-year policy decisions to make sure that we remain energy independent. And I'm tired of the political rhetoric getting in the way. So I need to learn from those small operators, but that's where I'd like to start.
Well, I tell you what, to all my small operators out there, definitely, obviously, she just opened it up saying, hey, if she wants to know what she can do to help. So that's great to hear, Sarah. You also
and I don't want their money, right?
Sorry?
I won't take their money. So It's a win-win.
Well, I guess, if we become a Texas Railroad Commissioner, you would just be able to listen and talk and maybe even have a cup of coffee, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned that we have such a large deal right now with oil here in Texas, and it's not right now. It's been that way. It's a third of our economy, and with liquid natural gas, how is it that you can help get that over across to Europe? I mean, we have it. We're exporting it. How can you see facilitating and getting that done?
Yeah, I mean, look, we're at capacity with our export terminals, right?
Yeah.
So we need to be making sure that we are expanding our export capabilities, that we're working, I think, with other U.S. states. I saw some really interesting numbers the other day from an EQT report where, it's the really good narrative of if we really want to have an impact on the climate, then we should be using natural gas. It's replacing the coal in China, for example, with US natural gas. I don't remember the numbers, but it was astounding. It was like tens of thousands of windmills, tens of thousands of getting traditional ICE vehicles off the road for electric. And all of that comes from not getting rid of hydrocarbons, just switching from coal to natural gas. So that's a huge opportunity right there that we need to exploit, but we can't because our terminals are at capacity. So, and unfortunately, you've got federal permitting that gets in the way. And if we really wanted to be smart, we could fix our refineries so that we weren't so reliant on a mixture of crude, that we could use some of our own and not have to blend it. So I think we've got some real opportunities that it's just going to take some intellectual honesty to say, okay, we see these opportunities. What are we going to do to facilitate them? I have jurisdiction over a lot of it, but I can certainly come in and say, from the intrastate pipeline, oil and gas well perspective, surface mining perspective, right? Here's what I have control over, and here's what we need to be doing. And we certainly need to be increasing our natural gas export capability, because natural gas is going to power the world for at least the next 30 to 50 years.
I definitely agree with that on natural gas. There was a documentary that came out, and this is just more fuel to add to the case on liquid natural gas being better for the world and the environment. It was a documentary called Spoiled, lowercase SP, capital OIL, lowercase ED, and it talked about all the good things that the oil and gas industry have done. And they reference the Dominican Republic and Haiti. They're both on the same island. And in the late 1950s, the Dominican Republic, and I'm not for nationalizing anything, okay, but they nationalized natural gas for their heating and their cooking. So, all the stoves were natural gas. And when you go look, Dominican Republic is one of the best vacation destinations there is. And I'm not going to say the best, but it's one that people go to a lot. And then right next door is Haiti, that they're still using wood. I mean, and you look at a geographical map, Dominican Republic is green and beautiful, and Haiti is almost just, brown and treeless. So no, liquid natural gas, I do believe in. When we drill a well, we do our best to have nothing but the oil derrick pumping, and if we can have green grass growing around it, it's a lot better looking than those wind turbines that are up all over the place. So no, liquid natural gas, I do agree. I think it's going to definitely be something in moving forward. And in fact, with what we do at Pecos Country Operating and Pecos Country Energy, we've really started to focus on natural gas and liquid natural gas and all the condensate, all of it, because we do think that is going to continue to grow. Not to mention natural gas is trading, much higher than anybody expected to be doing. So it's an awesome time right now. And
right.
All right, Sarah. So tell me, Sarah, obviously we've shut down the Keystone pipeline, and we didn't do it. President Biden, and he's a president, so I give him that respect that he is the president, and he did that on day one. You become a Texas Railroad Commissioner. How can you convey how important these pipelines are?
Yeah, so the good thing about the Railroad Commission is that they have jurisdiction over intrastate pipelines. So if a pipeline starts and stops in the state of Texas, the Railroad Commission has jurisdiction over it. I think we can be doing some really neat things, and we're already starting to see it, to eliminate essentially stranded gas. And while we're waiting on pipelines and flow lines to come in, we're seeing people using generators to use the natural gas on site to co-locate generation for other drilling activities, for mining crypto, for powering greenhouses, right? I mean, we can do anything with this power if we're smart about making sure that it doesn't get stranded. And so I think that one goal that I have, again, is to try to figure out where are these pinch points that in the regulations that are preventing people from investing in infrastructure. And obviously part of it is we've had historically volatile pricing, and right, like when you've got mixed messaging from the feds, no one wants to invest in long-term infrastructure if they're going to shut down our industry, right? So I think we're finally at a tipping point where the left has realized that ceasing oil and gas production is not realistic in the next 30 to 50 years, and that it's not energy transition, it's energy expansion. So let's make sure that as these new wells come online, that we're able to get that gas to market and or use it in a way that's economically beneficial and not wasteful.
So to hear that you're going to go in there and fight to deregulate is obviously something that would be excellent for us here. Sarah, I know that you are rocking and rolling and you're just staying super busy. So I have to ask you, and it's my hook line question, Sarah, give me the crude truth. Why do you want to be the next Texas Railroad Commissioner?
I don't want to take a pay cut and move to Austin. But, I think when you're called to do something, and sometimes you have enough information that you can't unknow things, you can't unsee things. Yeah. And I have that, and I'm in a unique position. I'd call myself the unicorn because nothing's impossible. If we put our minds to it and we have the right education and the right experience and we're in the right place at the right time, we can do anything. We just got to put our brains to it and get our boots on the ground and get to work. And so I would be honored if people would vote. It's so critical that people show up. We're expecting a really low turnout. And I've got my tribe out there that is supporting me. And I really want to keep our Texas oil fields strong. And if we don't take care of it internally, I've made the reference several times to the mafia. It's like we're a family, and we've got some bad soldiers who are out of line, and those good soldiers need to be able to call out the bad soldiers and hold them accountable. And so I've also said, I'm the medicine. Like, here I am. I'm in the medicine. You're going to take your medicine. It's going to be a little bit painful. It's not going to be fun, but together we're going to come out stronger, healthier, better on the other side together.
Okay. Well, again, you're asking people to get out and vote, and so am I. And early voting is going on right now. And next Tuesday, May 24th, is big election day. So I just want to do nothing but wish you nothing but success and good luck in the rest of this race. And hopefully here I can follow up with you and see how everything's going here after next week. That's it for this show. Sarah, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for carving out some time today. And we'll be here next time on The Crude Truth.
The easiest way to start your own podcast and TV show? Real News Communications Network. Stand out from your competition. Produce streams of high-quality social media content. Become a thought leader in your industry. With RNCN, you get to be the host. We handle everything else. Tour one of our 3 locations in Dallas, Fort Worth, and the Colony. Call 972-402-6333 or visit launchashow.com to find out more.